It's the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast, where I go and look at loan plays and strategies specifically designed for GPPs. This is a show for people who are already informed on daily fantasy sports and how this contest operates. If you have any questions related to NASCAR that isn't a stupid question, feel free to shoot it my way at BrandonCruzDFS on Twitter. Most importantly, take everything here with a grain of salt and use your judgment when making entries. Additionally, if you have a gambling addiction, that's just not my problem. Check your feelings at the door. We're going to be going over the Xfinity Series race on Thursday, race 1 of 2 this week, and let me get this out of the way. I'm pretty certain I'll make a video tomorrow following the first Xfinity race, and it'll be a quick rundown of who I like for the second race and all that. I know I didn't do that the last time they did a doubleheader, but I was moving and didn't have time for that. We've moved into our new apartment. I still don't have my acoustic foam put up yet. I got it today, but I gotta let it expand because it takes a while to expand. I don't have a way to dry it or expand it. And I got a new headset for my gaming, for my hip hop gaming stuff. And that's what I'm using right now. It's a SteelSeries headset, so don't worry. The blue microphone that I use for my DFS Tavern videos, for the rest of my videos here, I'll be using that. I'm just using this one right now to test the quality and the range of volumes and everything, because I want to hear what it really sounds like, because I have not got a good feel of that through what other people have said and what I've done so far. Anyway, let me get that out of the way, and let's dig right into this now. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, go to racefortheprize.com to get the fancy NASCAR spreadsheet that I'm using and that you need to be using as well. This has everything you need if you're in the mood for projections. If you want someone to put it out there for you for these races, Pierce is a great place to start. You can see his projections. You can see what he thinks these drivers are going to have in terms of dominator points, or hog points as he calls them, place differential, DK, or his expected DK points, his FPPK, which is basically the ranking of the value of the driver, like what is their projected points to their value, history, an optimizer that I use. I mess around with his projections. I make my own projections. I put them in his optimizer. That's how I make my lineups. I highly advise you go over there. It's a good deal. We got a lot of races this month. I suggest you hop on over there and get that. And let's go over what I'm looking for in this Xfinity Series race. Now, pit road is important. As we've seen through this year with no practice, you need a good team on pit road. That's pretty much how these races have been decided in Cup, in Trucks, in Xfinity. Don't matter. Pit road's important. If you want to look at pit road data, you can go to racefortheprize.com and get his spreadsheet. You can see all the pit road data that you want to look at, data, whatever you call it. You can find it there. Fastest cars this year will be in that order. Basically, what I mean by that is the fastest cars that we've seen this year on the intermediate tracks, they're going to cycle to the front this race. This race should be green, 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 which means it's going to be boring to watch. And if you didn't have money on it, I don't see a reason why you'd even watch it. Well, it is a Thursday. You got nothing else going on a Thursday, but it's going to be boring. Look, when I go over the starting grid and look through the people, it's going to be the fast teams that are going to go up to the front. It's going to be the SHR guys, or the SHR guy, because it's just Briscoe. It's going to be the Joe Gibbs Racing guys that are going to show speed. It's going to be the Junior Motorsports band. It's going to be the Colleague Racing team. Look, it's the cars that have been fast this year. They're going to be fast in this race. That's just how it's going to be. They have PJ1 at this track this week. I don't see that playing much of a role, honestly. I just don't see it. They put it they put it in the middle lane and outside lane, or not outside, not by the wall, but the bottom lane is the natural asphalt, and then the second lane up to like the third or third and a half, they got the PJ1 up there. Nobody runs up there anyway unless it's a restart. Nobody uses that, and they are sure not going to be using that lane in a race that everybody's spread out single file. I think there was only a few cars left on the lead lap last year. I could be mistaken there, but it's going to be a boring race. So it's going to be a cookie cutter like we've seen this year. Like I said, the teams that I wanted to look at going in before salary was released, before the qualifying was released, I mean, it's those four teams that I brought up, and more specifically, it's Briscoe, Gregson, and Austin Cindric, the guys I want to look at, who I just imagine are going to carry the most amount of speed going into this race. Now, looking back, hold on, I got my optimizer running in the background. I got to look to see. Okay, cool, it's done. I'll talk about who I think is going to be higher owned or who's going to be used and all that type of stuff. But looking at the starting grid, look, I don't need to go into detail about these guys. You already know who the fast guys are based on the top 12 in points. I mean, the guys that I think you need to target at this race is Noah Gragson starting first. I don't mind him. If you believe Chastain's going to be faster than Gragson at the start of the race, which I don't believe. I don't think Chastain leads. I think Gragson, who has shown the most amount of speed coming off of the COVID return, in general. I mean, I know it's been Briscoe. I know it's been back between Briscoe and Cindric, but Gregson's been the most consistent, okay? I'd much rather go to Gregson. Not interested in Jeb Burton, starting third, 8,500, not interested. Michael Annett, 8,000, starting fourth, not interested. Harrison Burton, 97. You can lean to. I don't see a whole lot from Harrison Burton or Brandon Jones in this race. They should finish where they start. I mean, that's pretty much where they rank out. If you want to argue that Harrison Burton and Brandon Jones are the fifth and sixth fastest cars this year, I mean, I would not disagree with you there. That's how it is. Chase Briscoe is the first guy I'd look at going down the list from here that I'd want to focus on playing. So right now it's Gregson and Briscoe. Sieg still too expensive. Starting 8th, he should finish around 15th. I just don't see it here. He's had some bad luck, no lie, but I just see, he's a 15th to 12th place guy. Justin Haley, they finally bumped him up, which is kind of surprising. I figured they'd keep him at, let's see, well, he was at 9,200 last week. Where was I doing? Not interested in Haley. Yeah, this is a track that I don't really like him at. If anything, these cookie cutter tracks haven't really shown the best in Haley. At least the lower bank tracks. I mean, he was decent at Atlanta. Let me see right fast. He was sixth on average race rating in Atlanta. Let me look right here. He finished third at Atlanta. Where he finished at Charlotte. Crashed at Charlotte or had issues at Charlotte. He's done better at the. Let's see, what was I going to argue? He's done better at the higher bank tracks. I know that sounds weird to say, but if you look at Las Vegas, if you look at Charlotte, these tracks have more banking than Kentucky this week. I know this isn't a real stat to look at, but if you look at 1.5 models, you can break them up deeper into which ones have more banking. You can just see that Justin Haley tends to struggle a bit more on these lower bank tracks. I know he did all right at Homestead. But that is progressive banking. He was around a bit higher. I don't see him doing very well this weekend at Kentucky. Justin Allgaier should finish at least third or fourth. That's what I would see him at. I don't mind going to him. Anthony Alfredo, I don't mind using Anthony Alfredo either. He should have a top 10 car. He just needs to stay there. He just needs to stay where he's at, and he should be all right. He has not finished worse than 14th. That was at Darlington. I'm not going to count the 20th place at Indy this last weekend. But looking at the tracks similar to this that I would argue, I know I just argued with Justin Haley, the two different bankings, but Atlanta, Alfredo finished 10th. He finished 4th at Homestead in the first race, 11th at the second Homestead race. This is what I want to see from him. 8,200, I don't mind going to him. The reason I like him more than Haley with this argument is because he's $1,000 cheaper. Austin Cindric, I think you need to play him as well. It's wreck or bust. That's how it is. Brett Moffitt, the guy who is still in the series, who they didn't even plan on running past Dega this year. That's just how well Brett Moffitt's team has been running. This was supposed to be a part-time schedule, just from Las Vegas to the second Homestead race. But he was running well enough to get a sponsorship. He even survived, or his team even survived the 35th place finish at Homestead, which was originally going to end their season, so he's still there. Just not too interested in him. I imagine I'm going to spend so much money on trying to get Gregson, Briscoe, and Cindric in a lineup again. It's been those three guys I've stacked every week, pretty much. So let's look at Jesse Little. If you look at Jesse Little's last 4 starts here, I'm not going to. Well, let's look at 3. I'm not going to count Dega because he finished 13th at Dega. But if you look at the second Homestead race, even if you look at the first Homestead race when he finished 18th, he finished 10th at Pocono, 18th at Indy, For $5,000, he does not need to do a whole lot for you. He only needs 25 points to hit value. Let's see, what does he start at? Let me look. Start 14th. So he starts with 30 points. He can finish around 17th and still be all right. That'd be around 24, 25 points. I assume he'll get at least some random fast lap in there. I don't mind Haley. I think you need to go. Not Haley. I don't mind Jesse Little. I think you need to use someone like him. That's just how these lineups have been going, to where you need a punt driver under 5,300 or not. Let me look at Garrett Smithy right fast. I just want to check something. He is. Who is he racing for this week? Who is Garrett Smithy racing for? Hold on. All right, I'm back. Justin Haley in the 07 car for SS Greenlight Racing is totally a go. I just want to make sure before I did that. I mean, $4,800. I think you're gonna just have to use a crap ton of Garrett Smithy or Jesse Little. And I got some other guys I want to talk about when I get down there. But look, I don't mind using any of these guys. I wouldn't play both of them, but I don't mind them. Alex LeBay just too expensive. I don't know what is up with this price. Alex LeBay has just been priced way too high for like the last 3 months. Not interested in that. BJ McLeod. Honestly, the reason I like Haley and Smithley and other guys in the back, which I'll get to, is that everybody's still playing BJ McLeod. The ownership on BJ McLeod isn't astronomical, but it's way higher than these other guys, and I still feel like people are going to go back to BJ McLeod because they're like, oh, it's BJ McLeod. He knows what he's doing. And yes, I understand that. He knows how to arrive to the track and race with no practice and all that. But look, there's better plays out there than BJ McLeod. Don't like him. Josh Williams, not interested at all. He's had some horrible luck. I mean, good Lord, man. You can't get any worse than Josh Williams. He's been bringing good sponsors and good equipment. He just gets destroyed. I don't like him. Not too crazy on him. I feel like I'll end up using Josh Williams or Brandon Brown in a lineup somewhere. Same thing with Brandon Brown. Ran unsponsored at Indy, which is weird. I thought for sure Brandon Brown would have a sponsor at Indianapolis. That's just kind of strange. I know he was flaunting his two-tone paint scheme on Twitter a few days ago. Let me see. But yeah, he didn't have a sponsor on that car. I don't get it. I don't know. That's a bit worrying because he has had something on his car this entire year so far. I wouldn't look too into that. He should still be fine unless I see stuff going down. And he finished 11th there. That's kind of weird. Anyway, that's odd. Jeremy Clement's not interested. His third place at Pocono. You know, say what you will about that. Indianapolis is a track that he should run at. He could run well at. That's the only place he has a career win at is a road course. Kobe Howard. You know, if you want to save, if you don't mind the 5,700, I'm sure he's a bit safer than Garrett Smithley and Jesse Little. Same upside there, probably top 17 if stuff goes his way. And I assume there's going to be somebody who wrecks. There's going to be one mistake because these restarts are nuts at this track. Ronnie Bassett Jr., I need to check and see if he's all right, if he's sponsored, if it's a blank car, if it's not. Let me see here. They still never post anything, of course. Let's see. Ronnie Bassett. Let me look. I have to find more information on Ronnie Bassett because he's still just listed under Bassett Gutters and More Chevrolet, which is just what they always run when they're unsponsored. But he hasn't started in Park this year yet. He's just finished horrible. Based on his finishes, I want to stick away from Ronnie Bassett. Riley Herbst. I don't know why I say Herburst. He doesn't have an E in between the B and the S. Don't understand. Either way, he's what he is. He's a worst version of Austin Cindric. If Austin Cindric has like winning potential, it's Riley Herbst who has a top 10 potential or a wrecked car. Due to that, even at 8,400, I'm just not interested. He has a fast car. He's in the Joe Gibbs stable. He just keeps messing up, and I'm sick and tired of trying to argue with myself to play him or not to play him. I'm just not going to play him until he can show me. It's the same thing with Tommy Joe Martins. Until these guys can show me that they can finish races, I'm not going to play him. I'm just not going to do it. Jeffrey Earnhardt, too expensive for 24th. Just don't see it. Cody in, take it behind the wall. Not gonna do it. Not going there. Mason Massey, $6,300, too expensive for me. Like I said, I'm probably gonna be stacking three of the $10,000 guys in a lineup. I just don't see Mason Massey fitting in there. Bailey Curry just too expensive for me. Don't see that happening. Myatt Snyder. Everybody knows I love this guy. Not even I don't even know what he looks like. I legit don't know what the dude looks like. If you well no, I guess I have seen him before because I see him on Twitter. But I'm a fan of him in a DFS in this DFS season. Just that's a top 10 car, man. That is a top 10 car starting 28th. Give me plus 18 place differential. I'm fine with that. Stefan like I got to check and see if Chad is still injured. I got to check and see what they're doing at NBA Motorsports. Leach Light should be all right. Starting 29th gives you an upside of maybe 3 positions, somewhere around there. I'm not too sure. Going down to Kyle Weatherman, a guy that I really want to look at. I mentioned this last weekend, and it worked out way better than I thought it would. But if you look at Kyle Weatherman, and you see what those guys are doing at that quote unquote back to the blue. Let's see. They took the scheme off. They had Stand for the Flag and Repairables.com on the track last week at Indy. They took that off. Do they have 2 cars now? Because wait a minute. I just had a idea. Hold on. Let me look right fast. Because the reason that I was so high on these guys, it was repairable vehicles for the Mike Harmon car. I thought for the longest time they had 1 car for each of those. I mean, I'm sure they had backup cars. But hold on, I need to look through stuff right fast. I got to do some dig. We're going to stay live. I'm not going to pause. Even though I figured out how to pause these things, I'm not going to do it. So if you look at June 23rd, let's see. Let me go back more. What number is this guy in? Kyle Weatherman, 47. Tim Veens ran that car at Talladega. And that was... Usually I can figure out what chassis they are. Last time this one was ran was Homestead. This is the Homestead car that they're running this weekend. So, looking at Homestead right fast. Kyle Weatherman finished 33rd and 35th at Homestead. Interesting, because this is the same back to the blue car that they ran at Homestead. And the reason I'm saying this is because these last 2 weeks, Kyle Weatherman ran the full race and ran very well at Pocono and Indy, which I called out last weekend on the Indy race. I told, hey, there's an upside to playing Kyle this weekend because it's out of the ordinary to see anything with Mike Harmon have anything painted, have anything flashy, looking like it's gonna go to a sponsor or somebody's looking at him. I got a feeling Kyle Weatherman does not run very well this weekend at Kentucky, based on the fact that they're back to running this back the blue, and I'm only saying that to describe to you what chassis this is, because this has not been repainted, this has not been redone or anything, but this is not the same car that he ran last weekend at Indy. I just don't. Let me see. No, wait a minute. This is not the same one. Let me look. We're staying live. This one. This one has the weird color. Hold on. Back to blue. No, this is the same car they ran at Homestead. There's no way this car runs, man. There's no way this car runs Kentucky. There's no way. Well, if you're in the DFS Tavern, I'll probably answer the question more specifically tomorrow. Okay, long story short, I don't think Kyle Weatherman runs nearly as well as he does at Pocono or Indy. I don't see it. If unless they designed the car that he ran last week for the flatter tracks or road course, maybe that's to be seen. But I think Kyle Weatherman goes back to his 30th to 30 place finishes here. Just like Eric Almirola in the Cup Series last week, was these last 2 weeks of the time to play Kyle Weatherman, and I don't think it's worth going to this weekend. Joe Graff Jr. has burned people at least 8 times this year, $6,600. I'm okay with going to Joe Graff Jr. now. I don't mind the 6,600. Chad Fitchum finished 27th last week, $6,400. I don't know if I'm going to have that much left for my punt. Chad should do all right. Let me look. I don't have anything on their car either. Chad Fitchum, Timmy Hill should run the whole race. Should be all right. This is a track I figured Timmy Hill should do better at than what his 25th finishes, 26th finishes. He should be back on track for a top 18. I'd much rather go Timmy Hill. Vinnie Miller. Let me look. I'm fine going there based on the safe value. The 32nd finish at Indy, that was due to him blowing a tire. And he went over a curb, and they showed this on the broadcast, and they didn't even talk about it, but he went over one of those turtles or one of those, whatever you call it, the rumble. It's not a rumble strip because it's higher than that. Anyway, he had the flat tire, and he ran over one of these curbs, and it just destroyed the lower control arm. I mean, I saw that in the video, and I mean, there's no way he didn't get suspension damage from that. That's why he finished 32nd. He was running all right before that. Matt Mills, same thing. Not too concerned about him. Starting 35th, $5,900. I think he might be a guy I have to go to. Tommy Joe Martins, I am not playing. I haven't. The only time I played him was Talladega this year. I've just gotten bad juju vibes from this man, and until they can build a motor that does not fail, I am not playing Tommy Joe Martins this year. I need to see another top 15. Otherwise, I'm not touching him. I don't know who's building these motors. I don't know if it's Tommy helping install them. I don't know if he has an engineer special or an engine specialist or whatever he's doing there. But if I was the one building those motors for the team that I was with, or if I was in charge of putting those together, and we had, what is that, the 6th motor issue? Not even issue, 6 motor failures this year. It's over 4. I know it's over 4. I would lose my job. There's no way in hell I'd keep my job as an engine builder or installing those motors or whatever. There's no way I'd keep my job. It's frustrating. Even as just a fan watching, seeing how many issues he's having with those engines. I don't know what it is, but he needs to clean house, change something, because that's just unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and I don't know. I mean, just like 35th at Indy, 30th at Pocono. Homestead had an issue starting the motor. Blew a engine at Las Vegas in practice. I believe he blew another motor somewhere else in practice and during a race. It's just been bad. It's been horrible. Not interested in Tommy Joe Martins. Anyway, so let me break it down again. Who I like: Noah Gragson, Chase Briscoe, Allgaier, Alfredo, Cindric, Little Smithley. I'll probably end up something with Brandon Brown or Josh Williams, one of these guys. Mason, no, not Mason Massey. Matt Snyder, Stephen Light, Weatherman. I gotta figure out what car they're running, and this is something I'm going to dive into more tomorrow. But I want to. I'm pretty sure he's racing the car that they ran at Homestead and Las Vegas and Fontana with this weekend. If that's the case, I don't want anything to do with it. Joe Graff Jr. I like. Chad Fitchum I like. Timmy Hill I like. Vinnie Miller I like. Matt Mills I like. Probably going to end up building a lineup around that. Let's see what my first projections look like here. If I can check out which, and of course they're not going to show up. Who is the guy that I'm looking at? I'm really landing on Joe Graff Jr. a lot. Probably more than what I want right now, actually. That's a bit concerning. Let's see, Joe Graff Jr., Joe Graff. Yeah, I got a lot of Joe Graff Jr. So I imagine Joe Graff Jr. is probably going to be the highest owned driver. Maybe not. He's burned so many people too. Let me see who else do I got a lot of. Let me see. Yeah, that's what it's looking like right now. Just Joe Graff Jr. I got, and then everybody else from my player pool is just kind of spread it around. Joe Graff Jr. seems to be the guy I'm laying on the most. If that's the case, I might try and pivot off of him to who's around him in price. He's 66. Yeah, so pretty much I'm probably going to spread his ownership around either Vinnie Miller, Matt Mills, Light, or just go Jesse Little and Smithley and just hit those guys there. Yeah, I think that's the way you got to go. I think the way you have to approach this race is, yeah, sure. I mean, you want Dominator points. We have more Dominator points than what we've had these last couple weeks. So you want whoever you think is going to lead the most amount of laps, whoever you think is going to be fastest. The guys in that realm are most likely going to be Gregson, Briscoe, Austin Cindric. If you want to throw in other guys that you think might do that, I'd look towards Justin Allgaier, Justin Haley, either Harrison Burton or Brandon Jones. I'd lean more Jones. Just say screw it at that point. And I just don't think Chastain works. I don't see him leading laps. Even if he gets out in front, I see him being passed under pit road or something around there. So looking at 3 dominators, probably 1 punt, either between Jesse Little, Smithley, Weatherman, or Light, and then whoever you can fit in from there. That's probably what I'm looking at here. I think that's about it for this video. Stayed under half an hour. A couple news or a couple things of note here. Support DFS Tavern on Patreon. I can't stress that enough. I can't say why, but you can see that we're actively promoting our Patreon and our site more and our Discord more. I have revamped the heat map for the Cup Series, and I'm really close to considering making one for the Xfinity Series. I just don't know if I'd have the time. I'm trying to see if I would have enough time right now if I were to do that to continue it for the rest of the year, maybe for the Truck Series over there. But right now, it's still just the Cup Series for my heat map. It's stupid simple. It's my player pool. Everybody is highlighted on how to use. I walk you through it. If you have any questions, I answer every question there is in the Discord. I help you guys out. We have been doing very well, and if you are listening at this point and you are in the Discord and you win money, if you want to thank me, please, for the love of all that's mighty, please tweet that out. Tweet those screenshots out. I don't want to be there telling, because this is my own podcast at this point. This isn't associated with that, but please tweet out if that's the best form of advertisement that you could help. That's the best anything you can give us, other than tips. If you want to give us tips, hey, we got those out there. But please, if you're winning off of anything that I say, or if I've helped you do anything, please tweet that out. I can't stress that enough. That helps us out so much. Support me on my Patreon for my own personal, like this right now is on my own personal page. If you want to donate directly to me, I have a Patreon in the description below, and I have that just to facilitate tips, the taxes and all that. Patreon does that myself. All that gives you is a Discord that I'm in, so you can talk to me if you want to talk to me about DFS, if you want to talk to me about anything. That's on my own. If you want my info for the Cup Series, if you want info for UFC, if you want info for PGA, please, please, please consider joining DFS Tavern on Patreon. I can't stress that enough, guys, because we're I don't want to say that. Look, we're getting to the point to where it's getting, and this is my opinion, this isn't Anzo's or anything, but when you look at DFS Twitter and you see, not even DFS Twitter, but the whole DFS industry, you have the titans up there that aren't going to be removed anytime soon. But you got like Roto Grinders, you got Osimo, no trash talking those guys. Yeah, I mean they're established. That's a real company, you know, like that. They know what they're doing. And then you have not mid tier, but like if you look at DFS Tavern, you know our Patreon, which this is up on June So this should have changed. Hold on, let me look right fast. Let's see. Patreon, I want to make sure it changes before I say this. I guess you could turn the podcast off if you aren't interested in Xfinity DFS. I'm just kind of rambling on right here. Let me see. DFS Tavern. Load that. Ooh, we still haven't changed it yet. Right now, our memberships are $2 and $6. That is well below the price range of pretty much anybody. And I'd advise you to get those prices now because they should change soon. They should change soon. If you want to get in, be stuck at that price, I'd hop on soon. Yeah, like, we're not charging arm and a leg. I'm really helping a lot of people out here. But what? No, I don't even want to have this conversation in this video. I might save it for another one. Either way, support whoever you like. If there's a content creator out there that you like that gives you good DFS info that helps you out, please support them. You know, likes are good, views are good. I finally got a tavern video over 2,000. But please support who you like. That's all I gotta say. That goes that goes really far, and I'm sure I'll talk about this more in tomorrow's video at some point. But thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. Check me out on Twitter at BrandonCruzDFS. Check out my stuff at DFS Tavern, and we will chat later, alligator. Peace out.